I like nature. So I would say it's Kyrgyzstan. So that
Oh,
place I would compare to Switzerland, um, and yet it does not have the the build-up of the villages. So I like it with that it's really very basic, and I can see the cows and even wild horses running around.
I did a liverboard boat around Raja Ampat with my family, and it was just one of the most spectacular weeks of my life. And just in terms of the experience, what we saw, the complete quietness of the trip. We didn't have Wi-Fi. We didn't see a few days we didn't see other people. The wildlife was spectacular, and just every day you just don't know what's going to happen.
these sort of trips, I suppose they are popping up more and more. This wouldn't have been on most people's radars, say even 10, 20 years ago.
It's something that will come onto trends later. I definitely think it is picking up a huge amount. And actually, to that end, it's the best time to do it, because the busier it gets, the more popular it gets.
I call them adventure wannabes, who probably used to be people who want to go shopping, eating, just more of like walking within the city, within the safe comfort zone that they have used to. So, but right now we are seeing that change, that shift. So take for example, right, like the audience based in Singapore, they really love places like Taiwan, Japan. And so what we are seeing now is that yes, they're still going to Japan and Taiwan, but they say, hey, let's look at something else in Japan, and Taiwan, and many other countries. Likewise, it's the same or rather a similar trend that we are seeing. So, for example, in Japan now, like the trails in Japan, it's getting popular, and then also Taiwan, we bring people to trek some mountains. So we are even bring people to go to some islands in Taiwan now. Yeah, so we are seeing that shift. It could be the same country, but they're looking for different experience in those countries. For my audience, I would encourage them to be a bit more open and flexible because, adventure is just a very, like a loose word, right? So think of us as like going expedition. So expedition in the sense, it's you're going to this place, but the itinerary is not very fixed, and you can have a lot of challenges, changes, something is going to happen along the way. And yeah, so being open-minded, being flexible, and so it should something happen, truly with a positive mindset.
You see so much these days on Instagram. You're like, I feel like I've been there. I want to do something that isn't like all over my Instagram, that people haven't been before. So we're going to go to Australia, but I don't want to go to Sydney. I want to go to the outback, or I want to go to Cambodia, but I want to go and stay in the rainforest. People are just becoming a little bit more intrepid and a little bit more adventurous.
Mm. What do you think is causing this shift in thinking? And is it uh, a certain group, a certain age group that is doing more of this?
From our point of view, um, it's a little bit of everything, to be honest. I would say kind of the younger traveler wants to do it, but also I think a lot of parents are actually a little bit more open about kind of taking their kids out of school a couple of days early, because they see the power of travel in terms of educating their children. The trend is very much through a lot of different age groups.
What we are seeing is people who kind of reaching or maybe had early retirement, and then they say, hey, they have seen enough of COVID, like what they have experienced, and they say, okay, um, maybe I worked too hard and too long. So I think I should just give myself a real good break. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think they're prioritizing it more. I agree.
yeah, you agree, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All
that's
these
what we are
bucket
seeing.
list activities right now.
Yeah.
Correct.
And
There's
actually, in the same vein, we've had quite a few people just more uplift in the kind of like little wellness trips as well, because, while they want to do these big trips with their families and they're a bit more adventurous, they're also quite burnt out. Whereas post-COVID, there was a real slump because everyone had been sitting at home, not really doing a lot. And so the idea of going somewhere and not doing a lot didn't really appeal. And these days, you can go to some amazing properties that is incredible for your family, but it also has an amazing wellness proposition. You can do stem cell therapy at Suniva Fushi in the middle of the Maldives. There's so much you can do now. And this is what we do with our clients, is just like push them a little more. Well, what about this and what about this? Because if you don't just go to the normal places that you've seen and read about for years, and you explore a little bit more, and you allow your travel agent to help you a little bit more in terms of kind of what's suitable for your family, you can tick so many boxes and have the most amazing experience.
What we are seeing is that people would want to take a slower pace and to truly immerse and experience what the place has to offer. So I think it very much depends on the audience, but I do see a shift towards not just a tick list, right? Okay, I've been to the let's say Eiffel Tower, right? So it's beyond that now, right? They want to spend more time to be immersive, sit down, even cafes, take a slow walk, like that. So I think that's what we are seeing.
I was just thinking, I wonder if it's the rise of people taking more videos of their experiences. So much is put on Instagram these days.
I'm sure social media has played a big part in making people's holiday decisions.
Yeah, I think definitely. And my co-founder Lauren Rapps has a lot of clients in the US. So obviously they're seeing what's happening on a daily basis. It's very much in front of their face with daily updates. And I think it's definitely slowing people down a little bit in terms of the tariffs. But I think it's also encouraging people to do things people are starting to kind of book trips much more last minute because there is a bit more uncertainty. So people are kind of a little bit more last minute about these things, and just to make sure that everything's okay. But they're still traveling. It's just taking them a little bit longer to kind of just sign on the dotted line.
Because of tariffs and the war that's happening now. So people are very cautious. And my observation is that they are also very careful with their spending.
Which would you say are the hot destinations now?
Japan has just been absolutely nuts. Everyone's been going there for the last few years, and we've definitely seen that. But I think we're really seeing a rise now in that really kind of going and wanting natural beauty and to be kind of doing something very different, and as we were discussing, something a bit more adventurous, sustainable, and authenticity, and kind of conservation focused trips are massive now. Like they're really rising. So Bhutan is really on a lot of our clients' hit list. That's becoming really, really popular because, as I say, with that, it's less, you've got wellness, you've got switch off time, you've got adventure, hiking, completely different. You're stepping out of your everyday. You're leaving your to-do list at home. You're spending a time with your family or your loved one, or just even on your own. We have a lot of people traveling on their own these days. It just, they want to get away from it all. So we've gone back to that crazy, everyone's at 100 miles an hour again, and they want to go somewhere very different. And I say authentic probably every day at the moment. Like it's just all about authenticity.
So when you say authenticity, it could mean different things to different people. I'm just wondering, what does that mean? That it's unique to you as an experience, that you're not
I think
following something else or somebody else's
I think,
footsteps?
yeah, I think unique to you. I think, if unique to the country, authentic experience. So of really experiencing the culture in a very honest way. So this is, comes back to a lot of what we do in terms of sustainability, is making sure that we only work with suppliers who are authentic. So, it's understanding the culture and meeting people, and there's nothing put on, there's nothing contrived. I would say, in terms of adventure as well, New Zealand's coming back in quite a big, that it went off the boil for a long time, and now it's people really want to go back there and really experience it. And again, it's about seeing all the different aspects of it, but being completely at one with nature and enjoying everything that has to offer, that it has to offer. The slow travel is a big one. So going and spending time on a liveaboard. Train travel is really big now. It's becoming much more popular. People are enjoying the actual act of traveling, getting from A to B, by going on a Belmont Orient Express, or taking a boat through along the Mekong. So there's that element of slow travel as well. It's authentic.
Mine would be Japan, Taiwan, and I'm also seeing China, not the cities, obviously. So, for example, a certain part of like Yunnan, people just like that part of China now, and also the other part of China that people really, it's in a hot spot, seems to be Xinjiang as well. Yeah, so there's something about like all these places, a bit remote, with lots more culture, nature, and history, and people are open to visiting that. Like, if you talk to people about visiting China, they'll be like 10 years or even 15 years old, they'll say, nah, the toilet is dirty. But now people say, no, they're saying, it's okay, I can go to all these places. And yeah, they're very open to all that.
Okay. How about city travel? Is that something that's sort of dropped off in interest?
Definitely in Asia, but I would say Europe cities are still, very much of interest. Places like Florence and Rome and Paris, people still really want to go there. I mean, that I think for the first time, or whether it's due to nostalgia, I don't know. European cities tend to be kind of have pretty consistent demand with us.
It's almost a bit like nostalgic, isn't it? Because a
Yeah,
lot of the cities don't change much in
yeah.
terms of architecture and things of that nature. Which are the destinations you feel that are still not not on the radar as much as it should be or could be?
We had a meeting a few weeks ago with somebody in from Myanmar, and we sat there and talked for about 2 hours about what an incredible country it is, and why, everything that's going on there at the moment has had such a huge impact on their travel. So the guy we were speaking to said that their top guide did one trip last year, an entire year. Everyone's had to retrain, everyone's had to go find new jobs. It's devastating. And we left this lunch and we were like, right, let's go. We're going to do some marketing around it. Like, he'd just come back. He said it was absolutely, didn't feel scared one moment, felt very, very safe. We're like, surely we can help, push it a little bit more. And then the very next day, they had this devastating earthquake. It's just so sad that they've had one thing after another, but it's such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful country, and that's very sad that it hasn't had the tourism that it used to.
I personally feel like, for example, the Stans region, like the one I said I like Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. I think that it's such a beautiful place. You tell people that, they'll be like, huh? They give you, yeah, they just listen to you, then they'll be like, the huh means like, they probably have lots of consideration and thinking, is it safe? And blah, 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 that's what I feel. but it's such a
Mm.
beautiful place that deserves, like, give it a chance and give it a go. They will not regret.